the only place for everything Vikings. 6, 1, 2, Vikings.
Welcome back to the 612 Vikings podcast. I am Dustin, and we are here with Sean or at SKNFL. And as you guys can tell, Drew's not on today. We don't know what happened to him. He's MIA right now. But Sean, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm great. That much closer to the Minnesota Vikings season start. I think we're 2 weeks away from the first preseason game.
Just about.
What did JJ McCarthy say as he was walking into the team facility? It smells like football season. So
yes.
You got to be excited for that. It's the best time of the year, guys. It's coming up. It's right around the corner. So I'm excited. I love it.
This is like the second coming of Christmas for NFL fans, is right when training camp starts and preseason. Once that first preseason comes around, like by halftime, we're like, okay, this sucks. But it's officially football time. So can't wait to get some coverage at training camp too. I'll be there for the first day, kind of get some videos. So
Sweet.
Yeah, today we got a whole bunch of topics to talk about. Let's get into the first topic here. We got some major news off of the Minnesota Vikings. Both rookies, JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner, have both signed their rookie contracts about time, just before training camp. It works out perfectly. So yeah, we'll start with JJ McCarthy. Sean, if you want to take it away from here.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was some people that were starting to become worried about the whole JJ McCarthy was going to hold out and wanting his, signing bonus fully guaranteed. I don't think there is anything to worry about ever. I mean, we look at the same agent that's Justin Jefferson's agent is JJ McCarthy's agent. Justin Jefferson didn't sign his rookie deal till July 22nd. When did JJ McCarthy sign his deal? July 22nd. So, I mean, there was nothing really to worry about. And especially just from what we've seen from JJ McCarthy, just in this short period of time as being a Minnesota Viking, he hasn't given off the impression of he's a money first guy. He's not a team guy. He's given off, I'm a leader. I'm a team guy. I'm going to be there for my team. I'm going to work my ass off. And that's exactly what he's shown. So he signed his fully guaranteed rookie signing bonus, which again, it's nothing out of the ordinary, which I don't think I've seen any Vikings fans complaining about it. I don't know if you have on Twitter necessarily, but if there's any Vikings fans out there complaining about it, the reason why is because we're not used to having a top 10 rookie quarterback. That's why every rookie quarterback in the past has either gotten a fully guaranteed signing bonus or has been very, very close to having a fully guaranteed signing bonus. But if I'm not mistaken, his entire rookie contract is fully guaranteed, right? Yeah, 4 years.
Pretty sure.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
So, that kind of surprises me, but I'm not mad at it by any means. Sign the guy, get him in camp. He's still on a rookie deal. Let's get him out there. Let's play some football. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to the training camp highlights. I know the Vikings are going to be dropping those little tidbit videos of JJ dropping dimes all over the field. I know we're all excited for that. But outside of JJ McCarthy, man, I'm excited for the other guy that signed his rookie contract as well.
Yeah, before we get to the other guy, I think to kind of add to the whole fully guaranteed thing is, I think I don't know if Kirk necessarily started this whole movement of the fully guaranteed deals, but now it's kind of normalized where these rookie quarterbacks, rookie players, just I guess anybody now is getting that fully guaranteed contract, and it's not a shock by any means, but it's just a new wave that the league is going with. It's just something different, and I don't know if we'll ever go back to a deal that's not fully guaranteed. Maybe we will, maybe we won't.
Yeah, so. It does seem like Kirk kicked off. I mean, his was the first fully guaranteed contract in the NFL, I believe. That was at least that high or that big of a contract. So he technically
84 million.
He technically did start this whole fully guaranteed contract thing, which again, I'm not worried about, especially if it's a rookie deal. This isn't JJ McCarthy signing a 3-year, $84 million guaranteed contract. This is a 4-year, $21.8 million deal. That's fully guaranteed. What's that? About $5 million a year, which that's chump change for quarterback. So
Yeah.
he's on the rookie deal for the next 4 years with a 5th-year team option, which if he plays good enough, we'll be signing him to an extension after that 3rd or 4th year. So we won't have to necessarily worry about that 5th-year option. But again, man, nothing to complain about here. We got our guy, get him his money, get him on the field. That's all that matters. But I'm honestly, like I said, I'm just as excited seeing Dallas Turner sign his contract as well as JJ McCarthy because
And that's our next guy.
yeah, look, JJ McCarthy obviously is at the quarterback position. The thing is we don't know how much McCarthy's going to play this year. Now, Dallas Turner, he's stepping in. He's going to be a starter. There is no easing Dallas Turner in, and we have a game plan and goals for Dallas Turner to hit. I'm sure there's goals for him to hit, but as soon as we drafted him, as soon as we traded up in the draft and drafted Dallas Turner, he was going to be the premier pass rusher on our defense, plain and simple. So I'm excited that we got him signed and we can get him going, and we're going to see him week 1. So there is no ifs, ands, buts about it. I'm just as excited seeing Dallas Turner, which it says right here, signed 4-year, fully guaranteed contract, $15.7 million, and includes an $8.28 million signing bonus and a 5th-year team option. Got to be excited. You got two of the most important positions on the football field. You drafted those in the 1st round, and you got them signed. You should feel good about your team right now.
Yeah, and you were alluding to this before, but with Dallas Turner being, that starter week 1, I think it's also helping that Andrew Van Ginkel really hasn't been practicing, in the spring. I don't know how much he'll be able to do, during training camp. It sure sounds like he's getting close. Kevin O'Connell kind of alluded to it earlier in his press conference, but no, with Van Ginkel, missing that much time, it definitely helps Turner's case of starting week 1, and he's a super talented player. And I was telling Drew this too, is I think the Vikings kind of blueprint is what the Texans did last year with CJ Stroud and Will Anderson, kind of see if I don't know if they'll get JJ McCarthy to, start, but he would have to put up CJ Stroud type numbers, obviously, but just kind of get that future of the franchise on both sides of the ball. So it's kind of works out both ways with that.
Yeah, and you got the same guy that was kind of the role model or the guidance for Will Anderson. You have him in Minnesota now doing the same thing for Will Anderson's college teammate in Dallas Turner. So you have Jonathan Grenard in there and being that role model, being that guy that's going to show him the ropes, that's been through the ups and downs of the NFL, that's going to put him in the right position to be successful. So, I mean, great analogy. This is the same exact kind of setup that the Houston Texans had. And let's not forget, when CJ Stroud first got drafted, again, there was the whole kind of conundrum of, his test scores or a litmus test was extremely low for CJ Stroud. He looked terrible when it comes to his mental fortitude and blah, 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 blah. And those first couple months, people were saying Davis Mills was going to be the starter for the Houston Texans to start the season. Now, we've gone beyond the first couple months after drafting JJ McCarthy. But again, this whole JJ McCarthy's not going to play this season or doesn't have a chance to start week 1, I think it's baloney. I think JJ McCarthy has a legitimate chance to start week 1. So,
yeah, for sure. And I think that kind of gets, goes perfectly with kind of what we want to go into next with KOC's press conference with Kwesi as well. Is they had a couple key points in there. And one of them was, them talking about the QB reps. And Sam Darnold will be getting a majority of those first team reps. He also said that McCarthy's also going to get some first team reps as well. Maybe not as much, but I don't know what kind of percentage that would look like. I would think, like an 80-20, 70-30, something like that in favor of Sam Darnold. But I wouldn't necessarily rule out, JJ McCarthy, being your starter week 1. If he has a fantastic next 6 weeks of camp, he could definitely be that starter. And I think all Vikings fans are kind of more prepared to see Darnold anyway. But I think the kind of plan is to have JJ McCarthy start, if Sam Darnold's struggling or something like that, around week 6, a little after week 6, after that Jets London game, or after the bye week. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that all plays out. I know we talk about that all the time, but it definitely is interesting every single time.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the progress that we've made on the reports from JJ McCarthy. First, it was, I mean, this was maybe 2 weeks ago, if that, that we are hearing that JJ McCarthy is going to struggle to be the second string quarterback for this offense. Now we're talking about the guy taking first team reps. So, and KOC actually alluded to this in his press conference, saying Nick Mullins being familiar and comfortable with my system allows JJ McCarthy to take those first team reps, to get those reps under his belt, to get comfortable with this offense. So again, that pretty much tells us that Jaren Hall is going to be the odd man out in that quarterback room. And it's going to be Sam Darnold in no particular order. It's going to be Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and JJ McCarthy in that quarterback room as far as on the active 53-man roster. So him getting first team reps is the first step to him becoming possibly the starter in week 1. We have a whole month. We have 3 preseason games. We have an entire training camp to go before the Minnesota Vikings and KOC decide, you know what, this is going to be our starting quarterback for the 2024 season. So a lot can happen within that time to where JJ McCarthy just blows people out, out of their minds like he has been so far. And he's not been on the field very often, and that's not his fault. It's because we haven't been to training camp yet. We had our OTAs, we had our mini camp, but there's only so much you can see from a guy in OTAs and mini camp and rookie camp. Now we're getting into training camp to where it's real competition. Guys' jobs are on the line. So it's not just necessarily you're competing with the guys in the quarterback room, but the guys that are defending your receivers, they're fighting for a job. They're fighting for a roster spot. So you got guys that are at peak competitiveness going into training camp. And then you add the preseason, which I expect JJ McCarthy to get a tremendous amount of playing time in the preseason, as he should. And if he shows out, then I think he deserves to be the starter week 1. If he looks good in preseason, why not? What do we have to lose?
Yeah.
I understand we want to build the guy's confidence and we don't want to throw him in there too early, but I think we talk about this every time I'm on the show. We have a team that is set up for a rookie quarterback. We have a good offensive line. We have great weapons around him. We have a really good running back in Aaron Jones, and we have a defense that's getting better year in and year out under Brian Flores. So, I mean, if there's any team that should start a rookie quarterback, should be the Minnesota Vikings. So all he's got to do is show his worth in training camp, show his worth in preseason. And I think the closer we get to week 1, I think we're going to start hearing more buzz about JJ McCarthy being the starter.
Hey, let's hope so. Let's hope so. I think to kind of build off that too is obviously training camp is kind of like your foundation of, of what your season is going to look like and, everything like that. But I think JJ McCarthy, I think his time to really shine, obviously, is that preseason stretch. And it kind of is a big test, too, that we have 2 away preseason games, one in a very hostile environment in Philadelphia and, no pushover in the Cleveland Browns. So I think the true test for JJ McCarthy will be in those preseason games to see if he actually is ready or not. I mean, we've definitely seen guys that have played well in the preseason and played like crap in the regular season, and vice versa. So I think a very strong tell of JJ McCarthy will be in those preseason games this year against, at home against the Raiders, against the Browns in Cleveland, and then in Philadelphia as well. And then obviously the season starts in New York against the Giants. So yeah, like I said, your foundation starts in training camp. We'll see what he does in preseason, and it'll definitely be fun to watch. And, I think all Vikings fans will have their eyes on JJ McCarthy once he does start. And then another thing too, I kind of thought of this is Kevin O'Connell doesn't like to start his starters in the preseason usually.
Exactly.
Right. So I think this is kind of the exception year where, at least with the quarterbacks, where I think he will start Sam Darnold and then he will start JJ McCarthy, later or, the next game or whatever it is, kind of get them their fair amount of reps. So, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see Darnold and JJ McCarthy utilize those weapons in the preseason. Obviously JJ is not going to play, Hockenson's not going to play, but no, we'll see how those weapons do. And kind of speaking of weapons, TJ Hockenson, another thing that Kevin O'Connell was alluding to is he's going to start on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. Now that is just for training camp. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that bleeds into the regular season at all. You'd have to be on the regular season.
I think they have an opportunity to take him off the PUP list before the season starts. I think even before preseason starts, if they wanted to, which I don't think he's going to do that. But I think we can all understand that TJ Hockenson isn't going to be playing week 1. I think we've all come to the conclusion of that. Yeah. And that's okay, especially if you don't have JJ McCarthy starting week 1. Sam Darnold, go do your thing. You have Justin Jefferson. Hopefully you have Jordan Addison, which that's another thing. I don't mean to get off topic on the TJ Hockenson thing, but that's also another thing that KOC kind of brought up. He didn't mention anything about discipline or a fine or anything, but he said that time hasn't come yet. He needs to take accountability for, responsibility for his actions, and we're extremely disappointed in him. But he said that time will come. So we don't know if it's going to be a suspension or what. Let's hope he's there week 1. But if TJ Hockenson, which he won't be playing in week 1, that's fine. We don't want to rush you out there by any means. Now, the tight end room is going to look a little thin without you. But again, let's not rush TJ Hockenson back. That's a serious injury. When he's ready, he's ready. But I don't think he'll be ready week 1 by any means.
Yeah, I know all these Vikings fans are, saying, kind of hyping up Sam Darnold and McCarthy too, that, they have all these weapons to play with, and here comes week 1 or, however long, Hockenson is out and possibly Addison, you have, 2 of those weapons left in Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson. Hopefully a lot of those other guys can step up, those depth guys. Definitely. Brandon Powell, Jalen Naylor, whoever else is on that wide receiver room. Tristan Jackson, I know you're a big Tristan Jackson guy, aren't you? Yeah.
My guy. That's my guy.
So, and then the tight end room as well. You got Oliver, you got Big Bob, Robert Tonyan. They like Johnny Munt as well. Maybe N'Keal Harry, if he makes the roster or not. I don't see it happening. But, those guys are definitely going to have to step up and show everybody else that Sam Darnold / JJ McCarthy has these weapons. It doesn't matter who's playing, who's catching the ball, who's running the ball. It won't matter. So, it will. What's that?
It always helps to have a good running game too.
Yes.
So say, we're going to be without TJ Hockenson. Say Addison is suspended week 1 and he's not playing week 1. You better make sure you're able to run the ball that game.
Yeah.
Because if you have a good running game behind you, you'll be able to hit those big play action passes to Justin Jefferson. You'll be able to hit those play action passes to whether it be Robert Tonyan or whoever it may be. You got to get that run game going. That's even when Addison and TJ Hockenson are back. And that's why we went out there and got Aaron Jones, is for that reason. We need to have a legitimate running game. So, I mean, again, it's going to be very interesting. And I know you brought up that a lot of people were kind of excited about the whole Sam Darnold thing because he hasn't had necessarily a team that he's been the starter of that has this type of talent. He was on San Francisco last year, but he wasn't the starter. The game that he did start, he played really well from what I remember. But now you're putting him on a team with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hockenson, eventually Aaron Jones, really good offensive line. So when people make the comparison of Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, I agree with the comparison. I think if there's any quarterback in the league this year that's going to have somewhat of a resurgence and lead a team to the playoffs, it could be Sam Darnold. But that's if he starts the entire season. Is he going to start the season? So that's the main question. That's we have a ton of questions that are going to get answered within the next month or so. So, but that's number one, obviously.
Yeah, and I think obviously if Sam Darnold is playing well, has that Baker Mayfield type year, I think the Vikings do stick with Sam Darnold the whole year. There's no reason to rush McCarthy in there if Sam Darnold's playing well. It's just it'll be very hard for, I don't want to say very hard, but it'll be tough for Sam Darnold to play bad, I guess, with all the weapons that he has, kind of mask his mistakes, if any. Is he still Sam Darnold from Carolina and, the Jets, or is he a new Sam Darnold that gets to play with all these weapons in JJ McCarthy, Addison, Jones, Hockenson, etc.? So only time will tell, and I think he'll have a great year. I think he'll have a great year, and I think that's what all Vikings fans are hoping for. When we initially signed him, we're just kind of like, oh crap, we have Sam Darnold, but just kind of letting it marinate, through these past few months, we're kind of hyping up Sam Darnold that, hey, he has these weapons. He's with KOC, the quarterback whisperer. Can he rejuvenate Sam Darnold? So yeah, like I said before, it'll be fun to see how Sam Darnold plays, and if he plays well, has that Baker Mayfield type year, it'll be hard to bench a guy like that, and maybe we'll have to wait a year for JJ McCarthy. So.
I mean, Sam Darnold had a 8-10 record with the Carolina Panthers, and the first year he got there, I believe he had Christian McCaffrey for like 4 games or something like that. So he didn't have him for very long. So having an 8-10 record with the Carolina Panthers, who's been like 3 of the worst teams in the league the past 2 seasons, I'm not saying it's extremely impressive, but it's like, okay, you didn't have much to work with over there in Carolina. You have Matt Rule as your coach, who's back in college now. I think he's at Nebraska.
Yeah.
And then you didn't have Christian McCaffrey. And outside of that, I don't think any of us can name any legitimate weapons that he had while he was in Carolina. Did he have Curtis Samuel, or was he already gone to Washington at that time?
I mean, maybe he had Robbie Anderson. Maybe he had DJ Moore.
Robbie Anderson. Yeah, so having an 8-10 record with Carolina, again, I'm not saying I'm extremely impressed by it, but I mean, that's the best quarterback they had since Cam Newton. They tried to bring Cam Newton back, and Cam Newton looked terrible. So, yeah. I mean, there's got to be some type of credit there. And I think before he was benched for who was he benched for the last season? It was Baker, wasn't it?
It might have been Baker, I think if I remember right.
Yeah, he might have been benched for Baker. But before that, I think he had a winning record when he got benched for Carolina. I think he was like 4-3 or 5-3.
I would have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure.
So it's not like he was atrocious by any means, but he was on a really bad team. So now he's on a good team, which it seems like not a lot of national media feels like the Vikings are a very good team. I think we got a really good roster. Really good. We're young, but I think the Vikings have a really good roster. And I think the league and the national media is kind of selling the Vikings short a little bit. I think we have a legitimate chance to make the playoffs with or without Sam Darnold. So we'll see.
I think it's from FanDuel. I think they had the Vikings ranked as the number 26 team going into this year. And I think they had every other NFC North team, the Bears, the Packers, the Lions, all either 15 or higher.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have the Bears higher than the Vikings, especially that by that much too? I don't know. It's FanDuel. It's I don't know. I can't explain it. But I don't know how to transition into this topic. But that one of the last points, or is actually the first point that they kind of talked about, was the whole Khyree Jackson passing and them honoring that as well. So the Vikings are going to have a KJ helmet decal on the back of their helmet, kind of like what they did with Tony Soprano back in 2018, I want to say, when he passed.
Yeah, I think it was 2018.
Sounds about right. So yeah, they'll have that, and then they are also paying for the expenses for his funeral and Jackson's friends as well. So this goes out to Khyree Jackson, RIP, gone way too early. A guy that's my age, 24 years old, and just taken just like that, and it sucks. And I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter as well, but I think the person that was the drunk driver was posting stuff on Twitter and stuff, and it just was a big mess. I'm not going to get into that, but just thought that this was kind of awesome and cool and a great gesture by the Vikings to do this. And a couple of the Vikings coaching staff are going to be there for the celebration of life too. So yeah. So
yeah, just class from the Minnesota Vikings organization, pure class. Outside of the KJ decal and paying for the expenses of the funeral, I think they're giving his rookie signing bonus to his estate. So I'm not sure if he had any kids or not. I don't think he had any.
I don't think so.
But they're paying out his entire rookie signing bonus to his family, which is amazing, because that's what these guys really grind for at the end of the. Yes, they love the sport of football and everything, but at the end of the day, they play Pop Warner, they play Junior All-American, they play high school, they play college ball to get that big payday in the NFL, to feed their families, to put a roof over their families' heads. So the Vikings are at least giving that, and they're also keeping his locker open throughout the entire season. It's not going to be used. The number 31 isn't going to be worn. So again, just pure class from the Minnesota Vikings organization. And on top of that, in my opinion, I think they should sell like KJ pins or KJ stickers or patches or something, and just have all those proceeds go right back to his family. It just makes, and I think people would just eat those up. They would buy those things like crazy. So I think that would be a good idea on their part. And I wouldn't put it past that they already are planning on doing that, because I think they did that. Well, Bud Grant was a little bit different situation.
Right.
But, they did the whole Bud patch and hats and all that type of stuff. So I think they should do the same thing for KJ and have all those proceeds go back to his family. Because again, it's a tragedy, man. It sucks. Outside of just the football thing, we all kind of had a feeling that Khyree Jackson was going to be a guy on this defense that was going to get playing time this year as a rookie. He had the size, he had the athleticism. He was one of those guys where even players, Jordan Addison said, I believe, they asked him, who's a guy that we should look out for, a rookie that we should look out for on the defensive side of the ball? The first guy he said was Khyree Jackson. He's going to be a baller. Watch out for Khyree. So we knew what he was going to do on the field, but just what he was going to do off the field for his family and for his community, I mean, it's only right that the Minnesota Vikings pay out that signing bonus, and hopefully they do something as far as patches or stickers or pins or something that they could sell and give those proceeds to his family. But again, just a class act by the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, two things I want to add to that is, you're kind of saying this before, that he gets to play a game as his job. A lot of kids playing football, they all want to grow up and make that their job, and not everybody gets to do that. There's a graphic that floats around every so often of the percentages of high schoolers to college to whatever it is, the percent chance to make the NFL, I think, to even get a second contract as well. And it's very tough to make the NFL and to make that your job, playing a game as your job. So it really, to a lack of a better term, it really sucks for Khyree Jackson. A lot of these younger players that don't get to experience a single snap in the NFL, and because of a passing like this. So Jeff Gladney, that was a different story. He got to play a little bit, but RIP to him as well. So it definitely is a class act by the Minnesota Vikings to do everything that they're doing right now.
Most
so
definitely.
And then the second thing I want to add too is, I want to say that the Minnesota Vikings, their team shop, had Khyree Jackson jerseys. I don't think they were on discount or anything. I think they had a couple fans, or actually a lot of fans, selling out that jersey, I want to say. So kudos to anybody that does buy a Khyree Jackson jersey. Make sure you guys wear that to the week 2 home opener for the Vikings. I think everybody would really like to see that. And having that locker open for Jackson. I think Dallas Turner has his nameplate above his. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot
it's
of people don't
definitely
know they played at Alabama together before he transferred over to Oregon as
that's
well.
right.
They were
Yep.
teammates in college, so
Sure. And great move by Dallas Turner as well. And Khyree Jackson definitely will be missed. Projected to, be a star in this league. And it sucks that we never even got to see a single snap of that. And
Yep.
it's a lot bigger than football too. It's everybody's his families, his friends families, everybody that's involved. So kind
If you're
of
drunk,
going
take
out.
a Uber. Take a Uber or Lyft
Yes.
if you're drunk. It's not worth it. It's not just your life you're putting at risk. You're putting other people's lives at risk, man. So,
Yep.
man, don't
Gotta
drink
be
and
smart.
drive.
Yep, gotta be smart in those situations. Kind of plan ahead if possible. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I know we're kind of ending on a
A
a
sad
sour
note.
note here,
Yeah.
but no, we'll kind of we're definitely excited for Vikings training camp here. Kind of quick turnaround, but
Mhm.
yeah, no, like I said. To open up the show, I will be there the first day to get that content. I'll try to get some JJ McCarthy content as well.
Oh,
Post
yeah.
that on my socials. So
We're gonna love that.
hell yeah, yeah. I think last year I got Kirk Cousins when he was, I think portraying like the running back or whatever. He caught
Uh-huh.
the touchdown and did a little gritty. I got that video that went
Oh, yeah.
viral.
I
CBS
remember that one.
everywhere.
I
Oh
remember that one.
yeah. So hopefully we can
I
get
think
something
you
like
got
that
the
with
one where
JJ.
he was did you get the one where he was cursing too? Where we got like a curse word from Kirk? Was that you?
That one I did not get. No.
Okay.
I think that was against the 49ers in joint practice, I want to say.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Something like that.
You're
Yeah.
right. It was.
So I don't know. Hopefully we can get something like that from JJ McCarthy. A couple gritty moves or whatnot. Him hanging around with JJ, Justin Jefferson. So yeah, we will. We'll see how that all plays out this weekend. Saturday is the first day of training camp, everybody. So
Oof.
make
It's
sure you
here.
guys.
Football season's here, baby.
Let's go, baby. Skull Vikes.
Let's go,
Thank you
Mike.
guys for watching. Make sure you guys go follow 612 Vikings on Apple Podcasts along with Spotify. Follow us on Twitter at 612 Vikings. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Skull Vikes.
Skull Vikes.